Today we have with us MD Nargunji. Nargunji is a senior advocate in Bangalore. He deals with social legal issues and civil constitutional issues. He has received Karnataka State Rajyotsava Award in 2011 and which is the second highest civilian honor. Swagatam Nargunji.
Namaskar.
Namaste. Today we are all here to discuss about UCC, that is Uniform Civil Code. So in our panel we have Lataji, Gautamji, Abhishekji, Surendraji and Richaji. Yeah, anyone can start.
Namaste Nargunji. My question is pretty straightforward. The constitution has been clearly defined in Article 44 that UCC has to be implemented by the state. Why is that no successive government has been able to implement it till today?
I should just bring to your kind notice that the discussion regarding this Uniform Civil Code has taken place in Constituent Assembly on 23rd November 1948. Number one. Number two, this Article 44 falls within Chapter 4, what you can call it as directive principles. The directive principles commences with Article number 37 to 51A. 51, it falls under the directive principle. Article 37 itself prescribes that what has been mentioned in Chapter 4 is not legally enforceable. The words used are, the government should endeavor to bring these ideas in the society. Therefore, though there is some sort of persuasion effect is there on the government, but you cannot compel them to do only in this way or that way. Therefore, to put it in two words, there is a power to bring such an act, but there is no obligation to bring such an act. If you remember these two words, it classifies how exactly the powers of this part 4 of the Constitution. Yes, okay, if I can try to develop only on that basis a little more, how exactly the Constituent Assembly has been discussed. See, this Constituent Assembly, any ideas, if we wanted to take it, we should have a clear picture regarding the pros and cons of the particular situation. If you can go through this Constituent Assembly debate, one thing is very strange is that the Muslim community leaders, they have certain apprehensions in their mind. What are the apprehensions in their mind? Number one, by bringing into what we can call this Uniform Civil Code, our identity will be lost. That is the first apprehension. The second point, which clergy, even now today in the TV debates or elsewhere in the papers, you can see is, we are being governed by this law for the past 1350 years. Once we have been governed by this law for the 1350 years, why should it change? Why you people are imposing on me? That is the one question that will be posed against us. Number two is, our identity is depending on our customs or our laws. Therefore, you should not interfere into our personal law. If you go either way, they will revolve around about only these two questions. So I have got an immediate answer. You can, because you people are the activists, you are going to take it to further. I've got an immediate answer. Okay, 1350 years back, you are moving on a horse or a camel. Why you are going for a car or aeroplane or the rocket now? You can just put a question to the public. This is for the purpose of consumptions I'm giving you, so that the public can immediately catch up what is the fallacy in the argument. Once they will say that this is an advancement. Ultimately, the Uniform Civil Code is also an advancement. That is how we can convince. Just for the benefit of this learned audience, I can say, if we can go to the discussions of Hindu laws of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, 1956, Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Hindu Guardians and Wards Act, or any. If you go to the detailed discussions in the parliament, there is a wonderful discussions. Now, what our clergies are putting certain questions to us, the similar questions were posed by our parliamentarians, or what you can say, the persons who wanted to maintain the earlier laws to be kept in force. That is being led by none other than Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Kindly see, Dr. Rajendra Prasad has led against the Hindu code. And to some extent, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was also against the Hindu code. And it is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru who was in favor of this Hindu code. So all these things contributed. Because of the persuasion, because of the consistency, and one more thing, the society, I'm using the word Bharatiya society, is ready to accept the changes. Therefore, the Hindu code came in present India is concerned. Sir, I may say so with great respect. I'm not attributing anything to any of our forefathers. There is one small proverb is going on in our circle. What is Hindu in the Hindu newspaper? Except the title, there is no Hinduism in the Hindu newspaper. Now time has come. I'm posing one question to myself, and it is to everybody also. What is the Hinduism in the Hindu code now? Honestly speaking, there is absolutely nothing like that of a Hinduism in the Hindu code for the present what we are having it. Earlier there was, at least for the satisfaction of the two sections, Section 6 and Section 8 of the Hindu Succession Act, it has been brought down. And we used to call, the outsiders should know it, some lawyers know. Section 6, normally some of the persons who studies, they will call it as a Dr. Rajendra Prasad section. Section 8 of Hindu Succession Act, the people will call it as the Pandit Nehru section. It's idea, don't take it by name. They are the two ideas. The Section 6 goes back to co-parcenary, Sapinda, Sagotra. Section 8 goes to the succession by persons who are living as such. And daughters were not given earlier in the property. From 1956 to say till 1995 or till 2005, the Hindu daughters were not given the right in the property. We should know it. Where did they get the property right? They used to get the property right only in their father's right, father's property. There was no equality. Question now is, society has moved forward. Now the equality has come to forefront. Therefore, my sisters are entitled to get equal to that of a son as on today in India. We have traveled from 1956 to 2005 to come to such a conclusions. We have traveled so much. Now a question comes to us, how far the successive governments have made an effort or endeavor to introduce, not that introducing an act is something different, to introduce a subject for discussion in the common areas, Uniform Civil Code. Honestly speaking, sir, none of the governments has thought over this subject. Why they did not touch this subject? It is only because they are all afraid. Once I touch it, it will cause damage to me. I cannot come to the power next time. So, at least if not in the form of act, it should have been thrown open for the discussions. It has not been done by the government. While I am pointing out towards the government, what are the NGOs, so-called activists, so-called liberals, why they are not coming forward with this particular ideas? They have got a definite set that if the liberals, whatever you are calling them by name, just I'm using that word, the liberal, If they touch this subject, they'll be thrown out of their pocket. The pocket in which they are getting something out of that particular place, they'll be thrown out of it. Therefore, I put it in this way that the society also, I'm not saying only liberals, the society also has failed to perform its duties. This is the reason why we are so much lagging behind it to bring uniform civil code into the motion. Yes, over to you, sir.
So this is Gautam Nargundiji, namaste. So just one inquisitiveness, I think you shared that already it was tabled in the year 1948. But was this whole, UCC had gone through the Constituent Assembly? Was there a discussion in that? And if yes, then what happened after that actually?
Okay. Well, sir. The Constituent Assembly debate, sir, it is not that only it has been tabled. On 23rd November 1948, the subject was taken for discussions. That in that discussion, the Article 44, what we are reading it today, is Article 35 in the draft constitution. That discussion has taken place, and I should point out that Nazaruddin Ahmad, who was a forefront speaking on behalf of the Muslim protection, and one Mr. Hassan Ali, he was also on the same line. Whatever now I said, the two questions, on that basis, these two speakers, they wanted to convince the House that it should not be put, this Article 44 shall not become a part of the Constitution itself. They have tried to that. I mean, it was the discussions ultimately. That was their view. And Anantasenam Iyengar, he was of the view that this should be incorporated. Just I'm using the two words of those two guys, I mean, those two forefathers. I'm sorry, I used the wrong word, guys. Anantasenam Iyengar said, marriage is a sacrosanct. Number two, marriage is a sanskar. And in Muslim law, marriage is a contract. In Christian law, marriage is a status. Kindly see the difference. It looks wonderfully well, sir. I may not come to your aid for some time that while I'm analyzing it, I should go. Shall I put one question to myself? Are we really taking it marriage as a sanskar as on today? Are we really taking it that marriage as a sacrosanct as on today? If I may say so with great respect, in the 1970s, I'm restricting for the purpose of example, it happens to Hyderabad also. Hardly in Bangalore, we had one or two family courts that too works half a day in a week. Kindly take it down. Half a day in a week, the family court used to work. There I can understand it is a sacrosanct. There I can understand it as a sanskar. Now, do you know the family court, the affairs of the family court, the way in which it has been? More than 20, 30, every town and cities, we have got the 20, 30 family courts. If that is so, whether the society taking it as a sanskar? So, an effort also should be made towards this. Therefore, this is where we as a society has to take up this type of issues. You must have heard about the Kutumba Prabodhini. See, what could have been the natural thing? Now it has to be taught. How to breathe is a natural thing. How to eat is a natural thing. But now, in order to say that you should stay along with your father, brother, sister, it has to become a problem. So, these are the areas wherein society is also changing its interpretations. Okay, I'll be going in a social angle. Let me come to the restricted to the discussions only. Afterwards, Anantasenam Iyengar, Dr. K.M. Munshi, I'm requesting all of you, kindly Google it out and take out the speech made by Dr. K.M. Munshi. one of the wonderful speech with reference to what I can say, this uniform civil code. His argument is equally wonderful. Now I said about the opponent's views. He points out, sir, you are speaking that you wanted to maintain your identity of a minority. And immediately puts up a question. Are you going to give the same status what your Muslim community people, something like Khachi Moments, Boras, and Shias? They have got a different concept regarding the marriage, different concept regarding the partition. Are you going to respect them with great respect? It is not so. Therefore, we have to point out those who are making an argument that you are coming into our minority areas. We have to counter them by putting these 2-3 questions. What you people were doing for Shias, what you people were doing for the purpose of Kachhi Memons and Boras. They are not given it. They want that 1937 Shariat law has to be implemented over them. Therefore, sir, you have to point out, this is one of our weapon while we are going out in the society and while we are canvassing this particular point is concerned. That is the one subject. And the second point which Dr. K. Munshi has pointed out is, there are certain countries wherein the Muslims are in majority. Are you applying the same Shariat law what you are applying in India in those countries? It is not so. They are not adopting it. They have also gone for a changes. I am speaking about the countries wherein the Muslims are in majority. If in that countries they are not adopting this 1937 Act or this Islamic law, etc., why they should depend upon this? And whenever we make such an argument, persons like OIC, because I don't want to make it as a discussion, so I want to give some points, you to carry it out. Persons like OIC, who is from your state, OIC is canvassing the point that, Arey bhai, Article 47 is there, which is required to eliminate poverty, and you should give everything and all the best facilities to the every citizen of India. Are you doing anything for that? When you are not doing Article 47, why are you touching about the Article 44? That is the question which is available now and then by OIC. Kindly bring it to such people's notice that consistently all the government, I'm underlining the word, all the governments are making efforts to remove the poverty, food security, to give a food security to all the citizens. There is no opposition. But why are you opposing it? Even after 75 years of the constitution, still you are opposing it. So it is wrong. You have to tell him it is wrong. And there is a one person by name Poker who is representing the Christian ideas. He has also participated in those discussions. And he has pointed out regarding the drafting of that Article 44. Therefore, sir, we all should understand that Article 44 is available under the Constitution. Now, I'll borrow one question to myself to clarify you people. I'm borrowing one question. If Article 44 is there, who has to implement it? That's the next question which can be posed. Before I could touch any other issues, please, you people should keep in mind that both the state government and the central government, underline the word state government and the central government, both have got equal power to implement the Uniform Civil Code. And if you say so, including some lawyers will put you, how is that? It's only the central government. Then they are going to put you a question, even including lawyers. We have to bring to them that under the constitution, what you can say, 7th schedule is there. There are 3 lists are there. One is union list, list number 1. List number 2 is the state list. List number 3 is the concurrent list. Therefore, in list number 3, point number 5 gives a power to the union government and also to the state government. Therefore, I have to bring it to your notice. This information, you should go on putting it to your audience and your persons who are participating in your discussion. Even though such a thing is there, very recently, Uttarakhand government, it has introduced Uniform Civil Code. Just for your information, Uttarakhand government has introduced the Uniform Civil Code. And it is discussions is going on. I'm not touching the merits and demerits of it. And for the benefit of all, so far as the Goa is concerned, Goa got liberated in the year 1962. And Goa was under the control of the Portuguese. In Goa, earlier and as on today, still Uniform Civil Code is made applicable. Most of the people are not knowing about it. Yes, there may be some plus points, some negative points. I will not say that everything is good, but it is not that the something from the sky we are going to bring it by way of a Uniform Civil Code and we are going to impose the Hinduism or Hindutva. I have pointed out what type of Hindutva we are already there in the act. I'm not commenting on it. So there are few states which have already done this job. Goa is concerned more than 50 years, 60 years, their Uniform Civil Code is applicable to them. So that is another area. Dr. Ambedkar, while concluding the talks on this Uniform Civil Code, he points out that he doesn't take up any particular stand here, and he points out that in Central Province and in UP, Bihar, and come down to this Nizam's area, in all these areas, before 1937, Muslims as a society, kindly see, Muslims as a society, by and large, successions has been adopted what Hindus were doing it. Whatever may be there in their book, they were not following it. They will say, yes, we are all 7 brothers, let us divide ourselves into the 7 brothers. So far as the daughters are concerned, no, Sharia law is not good. We'll give it to the only brothers, and daughters are being taken care by the son-in-law. So that was the view, that was the approach of the society at large. But then 1937 Act, Sharia law of 1937 came into effect. Slowly society has started changing. Sir, I don't know, it all depends upon individual perspective. The area in which I have born and brought up in the younger days, though now it is not so the same way, younger days, the difference between the two communities was not at all noticed in the villages. They used to participate in Hindu festivals. These people used to participate in their festivals. Whenever the good and bad things are happening, they used to share each other. Believe me, their partition used to take place as if that of a Hindu family only. As that of a Hindu family only. Now, because of the introductions of these clergies, or what they are calling it as a mutaballi or the mullahs, it is that point which is creating a corrupt mindset. Therefore, a consistent effort should be made by the educated Muslims to the effect that what are the benefits of the Uniform Civil Code. Sir, Uniform Civil Code is 100% not in favor of the Hindutva for that matter.
I was
The
about-
Uniform Civil Code gives equal power to all citizens. Kindly see, equal powers to all citizens, which includes the male and female. So that idea should be inculcated, start from the school days, then only the people will start. So this is regarding the act as such is concerned. Yes, sir, some questions are there, but probably I am going little broadly, I don't know.
I was about to ask you the next question based on your last sentence. How are Hindu customs getting impacted because of Uniform Civil Code? I mean, we have various customs, right? So how is it going to impact us?
Well, madam. I shall try to analyze it. I don't want to go in socio angle, but I want to go like legal angle also. Many times my answer goes, let's go for a marriage. See, in marriage, every section of the society has got a particular type of a marriage ceremonies. One may be concluded at the time what you can say Mangala Sutra. The other may be calling it as what you can say Saptapadi. Other may be calling it as Nakshatra Darshana, Arundhati Nakshatra Darshana concludes the marriage. And some may say that both of them undertaking before the public to the effect that whatever that oath will be there, I'll be taking so and so, Dharmecha, Kamecha, etc. I'll be taking the oath and together they will lead the life. This is one section. There are different tribal sections are there. They have got each and every practices. One should understand that this Uniform Civil Code is not going to affect their private practices. First, we should understand that we have brought them to know. They are calling it by name Nikah. Some may be calling it in the churches. Everything, whatever they wanted to do it, let them do it. What is that Uniform Civil Code says? Please register it in a uniform laws. Registration Act. Not Hindu Marriage Act is something different. Registration marriage is something different. So let them register it. Let them. What happens? What happens is, now, if you speak from the angle of the female members of the society, the divorce has become such a common factor, more so in Muslim community, by using that 3 talaqs or otherwise iddat period, etc. Ultimately, it is a contract, it has to be terminated. It becomes more easy. Are they not deprived of the better life in the society, the Muslim sisters? They are as good as my sisters as that of any other sister for me. They are not different from Indians. Their right has to be protected. Therefore, I can use that word that Article 14 comes in the way if we allow them to keep away from the Uniform Civil Code. There, we should insist Article 4, no citizens can be discriminated. Why you are discriminating between a Hindu woman and a Muslim woman for the purpose of divorce? So you are denying that benefit to her. Kindly bring back. That is the one. Like that, adoption. Hindu lady is entitled to take in adoption, but not the Muslim lady. Why you are denying that benefit? And ultimately, after the adoption, it comes a guardianship. Who is the best guardian, sir, in the world? Mother, except mother, whatever may be the thing, except mother, generally, no other person is the best guardian. They kindly protect those things. That is one way of why we are insisting it. The question which requires another is how it is going to affect the Hindu society. Uniform Civil Code is going to affect Hindu society with reference to what we can say, joint Hindu family. In a concept in Hindu society, family is a unit, but the family is a smaller unit of a joint family. How far we are living in a joint family is up to your imaginations. I'm not going to comment. But that joint family status will be denied by Uniform Civil Code. That is going to reduce it. Already reduced, that is there. And one more important factor is HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. If I may say so, it is my personal view, kindly. Hindu Undivided Family is being exploited by the rich community people. There is no question of Hindus or anybody. Those who are rich, those who have got a very huge income, they will always try to put that income into HUF. Thereby, their tax liability will be reduced. So that is another way. In that way, we will be losing our status of joint Hindu family and for HUF. And the earlier laws of succession, now already it has been reduced. What was there before 2000, it is not so there. But there it may not affect too much of it. In that way, the Hindu law will be, to that way it is affected. There is one more aspect. What we can say is pious obligation, kartavya. Kartavya means my father has committed certain liability in the family, and what you can call it as a runa, I owe to it because I succeed my father. I have to discharge the liability of that particular runa, which my father has taken it as a loan or whatever it may be. So those aspects will be diminished. In that way, we should also ready that we should accept Hindu, these are the things which we are going to lose, or some identity will be lost. That is how I am looking at it. Over to you, madam.
Sir, you just rightly explained that this UCC is not for Hindus, it is for all citizens. Then why are Muslims calling it as an attempt to attack them?
Madam, in the first instance, I have used the word something like what I could say, faith and belief. If I'm not used it, you can take it now, I'm using it. Faith, what you can say, this Uniform Civil Code is not a matter of faith. It is secular in character. But they believe that it is a matter of Muslim, the original Muslim, aboriginal Muslim rule. It is not so. It is people were made to believe that it is Islam. How can anybody can define how the partition has to take place? Is it between the relationship between a man with the God would be the religion, or you can call it as a dharmic or whatever the word you can use it. But the property to be divided amongst the brothers, the relationship between a man and a woman, how is that it is a matter of a faith? No, it is purely a belief. An impression is created. I am underlining the word created. An impression is created by these mullahs or the middlemen to the effect that by implementing UCC, we will be losing our identity. And we are not asking them to stop from wearing their dresses. We are not asking them to stop their prayers. We are not asking them to change their traditions. This is only a citizens. Another dichotomy, I will tell you the best of it, which I noticed it today morning. Let us say one Muslim affluent family. It has got a property in France. It has got a property in Bombay. It has got a property in Goa and Hyderabad. They're very, very affluent. If they go to the, what you can say, the Europe countries, your personal law has no application at all. What is the law that is prevailing so far as the property situated in Europe is being governed by that law only. So that man is governed so far as that property is concerned, the European law. Once it comes to Hyderabad, he will say that it is being governed by my Shastric law. How could it be? Why not from the Uniform Civil Code? It is not the Hindu code I am going to impose on him. It is the Uniform Common Law Code which we are going to say so. And it is not with reference to the connection between the God and himself. It is only connection with reference to that property, business, money. So absolutely it is a myth, what I can say, it is a myth created by the so-called dash. Over to you.
Well, sir, you have already said that there will be no changes in the systems of marriage. So, what do you say? Is all the marriages will be held only in the registered office, or should they be registered mandatorily at the registered office?
Now let us see what is the registration. Now let us see what is existing as on today. Hindu Marriage Act, under the Hindu Marriage Act, some rituals are there. ABCD rituals are there, according to their customs. After completion of the marriage, along with your invitation card, your rituals, one photograph, this, that, you can go to registrar, sub-registrar's office, say that A and B got married in the month of January 2022. Now you are in 23, I'm deliberately giving January 2022. And these are the cards. These are the materials. Sign the paper, give that stamp duty, photographs, etc. Registration takes place. Like that for all the Hindus, that particular law governs. So far as the Muslims are, so far as the Muslims are concerned, I have used the word nikah or agreement. So for the purpose of agreement, they have maintained a register that Muslims community clergies, mullah, they have maintained a register. They have to sign their papers. It is a, you can call it a private document or societal document, only that much is there. But if they want to, sir, if the Muslim or a Hindu together, they wanted to register, let us say two different communities. If they wanted to register it, they cannot go to Hindu Marriage Act. For their purpose, what has been brought to the implementation is the Special Marriage Act 1954 has been brought into the effect. Under the Special Marriage Act 1954, the difference is in Hindu Marriage Act, after marriage you are going to register. In a Special Marriage Act, before marriage you should go and tell A wanted to marry with B. This is the address, this is the Aadhaar card, this is so and so, so and so. The two forms will be there. Afterwards, that registrar will put it on the notice board. Then it will be registered. This is the difference. Now, actually the answer what you want is, if you know these two answers now, what would happen? The Uniform Civil Code requires that the marriage could be performed according to your customs anywhere, but it should be registered in a registered office. See, for a property, that is the law, for a property, immovable property of rupees more than 100 rupees, even if it is 1 feet area, you are required to register it in a sub-registrar's office. If it is a 30 by 40 site, you are going to go and register it. Now, both of you have decided to live together. Two lives are depending and they wanted to stay in one place. And you don't want registration, you don't want acknowledgement for your marriage. And somebody should come that they are the husband and the wife. See, it is a protection that is being given to the two couples, to the two spouses for that matter. the benefit of Uniform Civil Code is the protection of the marriage. Number two is they are being protected from divorce. They have been protected from exploitation. Their maintenance will be there. They have been protected from child abuse. Therefore, these ideas should be communicated. Sir, with great respect, we have failed. Successive governments have failed. Successive generations have failed, including my generation. It is your generation which you have to take it forward. Sir, for this purpose, the Uniform Civil Code is required. Over to you, sir. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Yeah, this is Gautam. So already I think you have touched upon the impact of Uniform Civil Code and marriages, especially Hindu marriages are very complex. Already you have shared that different types of marriages, different ceremonies are there in tribal also. So would it be like removing? Will it be requiring to remove the Special Marriage Act which is already existing? If you are
Need not be. Need not be. Let it coexist. So I'll give you a small example. If an Indian man wanted to marry a French woman, where he should go? So this Special Marriage Act takes care of different types of area. Sir, there is something, the society is so much changing, so much advanced. Earlier, the people have got some sort of aversion towards the marriage. Now they are saying the marriage should be there. Those who don't want marriage, now they are asking for registration of a marriage. The living, kindly see the live-in relationship, though it is not directly connected to this. Live-in relationship, what is the live-in relationship? I and you, I believe you, you believe me, we are going to live together. Perfectly all right. And for that, if you wanted to separate, why you should go to the court then? If you want a court's intervention, why do you want the registration of a marriage? I mean, why do you avoid the registration of a marriage? So according to my own convenience, these things are happening. The society, those who wanted to lead the society, they should think about, whenever questions of marriage, etc. comes, you should think minimum about 50 to 100 years, sir. Minimum about 50 to 100 years. At least one generation or two generations.
I agree, sir. I have one question on inheritance of property. So
Such efforts are
what does UCC mean?
comparatively less. Madam, I'll do one thing.
Yeah.
Let us, inheritance, you wanted to touch it. Inheritance and succession. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yes, and does it impact the real estate transactions in any way?
See, according to me, in Muslim law, inheritance and succession is such a complicated issue. It is such a complicated issue. With great respect, even the courts will find it difficult to analyze it and to put them in a proper sense. Ultimately, we have got a test. The test, I mean, in the court's test, the partition takes place, this, that, ABCD, like this and that. The answer would be, after the end of the game, you should come to an answer should be one. The allotment, all add it, whatever it may be. 1 upon 67 share, 1 upon 123rd share, like that you go on adding it. After adding, you should get an answer, final answer should be 1. And if you go for the Muslim law, it is such a complicated, I will not say it is unscientific for a while. For a while, I will not say unscientific because so many years the people must have practiced it also. But it is totally unpractical. They are not following the Muslim law for the purpose of their successions even today. Only for the purpose that it affects my sentiment, they are opposing it. Succession and inheritance is a very, very complicated. For that matter, rightly or wrongly, I'm using that word, I may have one view and you may be having another view, but now the society has accepted how the partition should take place. Now the society has accepted how the partition should take place. By and large, the property is being divided accordingly. So therefore, go for the common law partition, but even to some extent, there is a one word which we can call it as a notional partition under section 6 of the Hindu marriage. So we will go by succession, number of parents who are all there. They will be divided. They will be given a particular share. Both men and women are entitled for an equal share. To that extent, we should go for it. More than that, while we are arguing the matter, I request all of you, kindly, I'm giving the argument up in society, any other subject. The party and adoption, etc., so and so, success are not any other things, their own way. Our constitution itself says, our constitution itself says, Article 44, there shall be endeavor to bring so-called uniform civil code. Even after 70 years, you are ready to, willing to bring it. Start bringing it. This is how we are sweating it. We have to cut their argument. Now, use the word Hindutva, they will start attacking us. Don't use it. Constitution itself says it is a secular one. These are the secular activities. 44 says endeavor should be made. We are endeavoring it. Why do you come in our way? That is how we can go on this. But what is really happening now is some of our elected governments are so much afraid of this phobia. You may be, so in the 91, what happened in Ayodhya, I need not explain it. In the 92, because I'm one of the activists I have pointed out, I was arguing in the year 1992 itself, the then government has introduced new Waqf Act. By that process, the identity of the Hindus, according to me, has been lost by the new Waqf Act, which has been brought into force in the year 1995. That act was introduced by P.V. Narasimha Rao, whom belongs to your state for that matter. I mean, these are the people. How they are going to react? One thing happened, I'm going to give you so much. Okay, Saira Banu case has been decided regarding your maintenance. Here and there some protest took place. Another prime minister, he brought maintenance of Muslim women right to divorce, divorced women's protection act. Is it not the duty of a husband to protect his wife? A simple question I'm asking it. Our government was more than eager to bring such laws. But whenever it comes to Uniform Civil Code, they will never do it. Come to 2005 Act. Its effect, right or wrong, I'm not going to comment on it. When liberals press 2005 Act, our government is ready to bring it. I'm asking the same liberals, why don't you press for the same relief to the other brothers and sisters of my society, the part of my society? Why should they be deprived of all those things? So these are the areas which we should touch. We should not presume or assume that by bringing the Uniform Civil Code, Hindus are going to dominate over them. No. Hindus are never dominated. Ultimately, the effort is the unification of the society would take place. The uniform brotherhood will take place. Fraternity will develop. For that purpose, we are asking for the Uniform Civil Code. Please don't be under the impression that by using the Uniform Civil Code, Hindutva has won over the minority. It is not so. The fraternity, Indianization, that is going to happen. Bharatiyata is going to happen. That's all. That's my respectful submission. Over to you, madam.
I have one question. What UCC means for pension after death of pensioner?
Madam, I did not follow your question. Let me try to understand the question first.
Sir, I would like to know what is the impact of this UCC on pensions after death of pensioner?
Uniform Civil Code.
Yes.
UCC. Complicated, creating further more problems. That's all. But I have not yet studied very detailed. But only that much I have not studied on that way. But only that much I could say that normally nominee will be entitled for the
Yes.
pension. And no, it is not right only. It is recorded. We'll stop here. And regarding this marriage, one more aspect just I wanted to bring to your notice. I mean, some of our Hindu friends are converting themselves into Muslim only because for the purpose of marriage. How far it is correct? How far it is correct? These fellows, say one IAS officer or so, that we can call it as the Sarla Mudgal's case. In the 1995 Sarla Mudgal's case, one officer, he wanted to marry B. So if he continues to be a Hindu, he can't marry. This fellow, only for that purpose, he has renounced Hinduism and he wanted to go for that. Then the court said, that may be permissible for you in Islamic law, but as long as you are the government servant here, we will not permit you. It is against the service rule. We will dismiss you. So this type of, we should bring these things to the notice of the people as well. Yes, sir.
Nargunji, just a quick question. For a layman, how do we explain what are the advantages and what difference does UCC make to their everyday lives? Because from a social, legal, political angle, we have understood it in different facets, but for an average Indian.
Okay, sir, for everyday life, you can take it out earlier, whatever I said, I'll only take it out for common man. You can say that they are being treated equally, number one. The women are being treated equally. Women's divorce right, divorce will be controlled. It is not at the whims and fancy of a particular man. And if that fellow the husband wanted to leave the lady, he is bound to maintain that lady's maintenance, etc. It is being governed by the act. And the lady is entitled to take adoption. That's another advantage. And guardianship. In a guardianship, actually males are being dominated even in Hindu code also. But the courts have come to the conclusions that the importance of or the welfare of a child is prime important than any of the other things. It is not the father who is required to maintain or the mother. The atmosphere in which the child will be more suitable. He is the next citizen. He may be the next president. We should have that thing in mind. Every child is a president of India tomorrow. Please keep these things in mind. It is not for this generation. It is for the next generation. Let us start doing it. And once once a community starts understanding it, definitely within a period of 10 years is the maximum for me. We will be able to penetrate these ideas. And if you don't bring it, society will make any government to bring them. The triple talaq, if the Supreme Court and the government has not approved it, how much atrocities you have done it, you would have done it on the section of a society. By bringing this uniform civil code, we are helping the common man to be more peaceful. That's how I think.
Nargunji, just a quick follow-up question on that. Why does the Law Commission, what exactly does the Law Commission want when it asks advice from the citizens or opinion from the citizens on this issue?
Sir, it is like this. What happened is, in the year 2018, you can go through in the Law Commission reports also, or even I will share it to one of you and ultimately you can share it. There is a report submitted by the Law Commission regarding the crystallized form of communications. For the present, it is not advisable. For that purpose, they have asked it. Based upon your in
Nargunji, sorry for
15
interruption, but I think we have lost your
use your
connection
good
here.
office, let them say hardly one paragraph. You need not give an essay about all those things. For this reason, Uniform Civil Code is required. For the maintenance of a child, Uniform Civil Code is required. For the purpose of pension settlement, Uniform Civil Code is required. For the purpose of equal distribution of a wealth, Uniform Civil Code is required. For the protection of divorce, Uniform Civil Code is required. Like that, a small paragraph and send it through email. Send it, communicate it to the Law Commission. They will be trying to understand the pulse of the people. And for that purpose, you are the activist. You are required to communicate all those things. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Namaste, sir. As you have already spoken about implementation of Uniform Civil Code, this Bharatiyata and brotherhood will be followed. But don't you think that this Uniform Civil Code will impact social harmony of this country?
Very, very, very right question. See, if you have got a knife, it all depends upon how you use it. You can make use of the knife for the purpose of kitchen, for cutting the vegetables, make it convenient, this and that. You can make use it of to disturb or to assault the others also. Therefore, we should make use of the Uniform Civil Code in such a way that it is not one person winning over the other or one society claiming superiority over the other. It is not so. If you think in that way, what you are pointing out is perfectly right. We are leading to that situation. But why that situation is there? We are not given education. There was no attempt made. Even the first question, whatever they has put by Surendra or so, what efforts we have made it or so. Actually, we have failed to do so is the problem. Let us start doing it. The answer, practical answer, what I could say is, this is normally the legislatures used to do it. I mean, the legislative policies are like this. Make ideas to float. Collect the things. Prepare the draft. This is one stage. Then deliberate it in the legislature. That is the second thing. Third one is pass in the legislature. It will take all the heat, this, that, everything. Afterwards, immediately don't bring it into the practice. I mean, that is the tricks of laws. How the laws will be implemented is, that is how the laws are being implemented. Except criminal offenses, the things will be left open. Why it will be left open? Let the people can decide. Let the people can think. Then they will understand it. Arey Baba, nothing is going to happen. The same was the problem with our CAA. Ultimately, they have understood that CAA is not against them. It was for some other purpose. The minds of the minorities, that their minoritism is taking away. Sometimes, we as activists also act in that way. Therefore, we should not think that it is Hindutva versus the minority. Please don't think in that way. Some sections of the society is deprived of human rights. You have to give the human rights to them. That's how we should take it up. Don't think in the way in which the society and the papers, some of the media and some of the activists, my own brothers, it is not in that way at all. It is giving the human rights. That's how I look at it.
Sir,
Over to you, sir.
yes, as you have said, we need to communicate to the government with our concerns, that it will be a equal justification, and we are doing a equal rights for everyone. So how we need to communicate to the law ministry when it has given a notification to us?
It's so simple. Thank you. It's so simple. Address to the Law Commission that I'll probably have been circulated amongst your group also. Only because of that, UCC Law Commission has published that 14th June 2023 letter. Only because of that, such a meeting could have been organized. Otherwise, it could not have been organized. Am I right, madam? So just address it, send it through email. That's all. Mr. Krishna, resident of house number 2, and so give your Aadhaar number or PAN number or anything like that one. Give it in your own language. Absolutely no problem. They have got their own method of getting it translated. Send it through email. That is sufficient, sir. If you people mind, within 24 hours, you will be able to reach up to 1 lakh people. That much confidence I have got it. I mean, the network is so good. Network is good. It is not that I and you will be going and knocking the doors and asking them. We have got to know many more social media in which you can do it. And everybody can start sending it. The purpose of meeting with you is only with that purpose we are meeting here. Over to you, sir.
Already, I think most of the, lot of clarification has come in, and already you have shared what are the next steps for getting this UCC cleared, and it has to be done in a settled way. Just one query, just add on. This question came to my mind. Suppose current dispensation gets an approval and it passes through the legislature and makes it a law, and it gets implemented. This law is suppose it goes into the public, and whether this law would be once again it can be repealed or not.
Sir, I did not follow last sentence. Whether this law would be
repealed, like suppose there is an outrage in the.
Yes, sir. It could be repealed. It could be repealed. It could be repealed. What is happening in Karnataka nowadays? Anti-conversion law, it has been. We have brought it. They wanted to repeal it. Gohatya Nishedh, we brought it. They wanted to repeal it. If you say East, I'll call it as a West. It is ultimately, there is one proverb, the people deserve the government what they want or what they are.
One more question regarding women from Hindu, Muslim and Christian religion with respect to property rights, age of marriage, procedure of divorce and maintenance. I just wanted to know what impact UCC will have on this.
Uniformity will be maintained, madam. The age, see, so some at the age of 14, some at 17. So whatever the government decides, the minimum age, that will be maintained. That's all I could suggest it. For everything, there will be uniformity. So therefore, what we can say that equality, the liberals, what they are claiming, equality is being taken away. We are canvassing for equality, and that is being prevented by the liberals. We have to build up such a narrative. That's all I could say.
Thank you.
There is one more question from my end. Now we can see some Hindu intellectuals and advocates saying it will impact Hindus negatively. Because since Hindus have already given away their customs for the Hindu code. So is it true, and what will the impact on that?
Well, sir. We'll go by one, sir. We'll go by step. Regarding the marriage, how could it is going to affect the marriage, whatever that particular community follows? What we say is only the registration in this way or that way. Number one. If you go for adoption and maintenance, whatever the rituals are there, you do according to your rituals, and then it should be registered. Succession and inheritance, it will be into either you can bequeath by your testamentary successions, you can create a will, the gift, anything. Nobody comes in your way. Without that one, if you leave this world, then equal rights will be given. And are we really following the Hindu philosophy in our succession and inheritance as on today? No. We are never following that system at all. We are dividing according to the statutes, sir. Therefore, the first word I have used is the word Hindu. Except the word Hindu, there is nothing like that in a Hindu code. Over to you, sir.
Sir, one final question from my end. What is the probability of judiciary jumping into all of this and trying to hold it, or maybe even after the legislature passing it with a thumping majority, because judicial activism is the norm of the day these days.
Okay. I'll put it in this way, sir. In the language of judiciary only, I will say that in the year 1985, there was one judgment which says that the government should endeavor to bring the uniform civil code. It is the opinion of the Supreme Court itself. 1985 Supreme Court, page number actually I failed to, but 100% sure it is 1985 Supreme Court. It is there, sir. And recently, in what we can say, in Sheeny Joseph's case, 2018 to Supreme Court, there also the Supreme Court has observed that whether to bring the uniform civil code or not to bring a uniform civil code, it is not within my area. We leave it to the parliament. Whenever it is convenient, the judiciary also wanted to escape its responsibilities. It has done so many times, but since on this particular issue, it has been said so, even in 2018 also. When this type of judgments are there, and observation is there to the effect that to bring what we can say, uniform civil code, it is the duty of the government and they should endeavor to do so. I think based upon that, we can proceed. But the interference is concerned, whenever the Supreme Court wanted, always they have intervened it. We should anticipate that. We should anticipate that. And you should proceed. That's all my submission.
Another pertinent question which comes is one of the major social thing which is there, that is adoption of a child. So can a Muslim man or a woman adopt a child under uniform? They've got an option to adopt a child in the Uniform Civil Code?
We have to make provision for that, sir.
Because it's not allowed, I think.
No, for the present it is not there, sir. For the present it is not there. You are right. For the present it is not there. But once you bring that uniformity, you should allow that. Why you should deprive them? See, regarding the population control, etc., you can bring some other laws. The polygamy, you can stop it. These are there. And if one child is being brought up and there are no child, see, two things are happening. One, mother will be satisfied, the other one is child gets a proper security in his life. So that is how the adoption has been incorporated. The theory of adoption is a unique feature of Bharatiya society or the Hindu society for that matter. History in that British period, what you can say, lapses, theory of lapse, this and that is there. Let us not go into detail. Probably the time is coming out of it. Only we'll remember that and we go.
So one important and final question. Why do Muslims want uniform criminal code, but they don't want uniform civil code?
Madam, it is not that the Muslim wanted it. The so-called criminal code, the criminal law, was introduced about 175 years back by the English people. That time only, see, they too thought of it. I don't know what is the reason behind it, but we'll try to have the law like this. There is a civil procedure code is there. All suits, whatever may be the civil suits, they will go by the same civil procedure code. If you go to the criminal law, the criminal procedure code is the same. IPC is the same. Contract Act is the same. Evidence Act is the same. See, these areas already similarities is there, but we should try to bring it to their notice. Arey Baba, it is one more addition. It is to your advantage. Once you convince them, that it is for the benefit of the sisters or benefit of the community, they too may accept it. But that Gumma theory, I mean, that Bhuta is there, I'll not open that door. Somebody should open. What will happen? Nothing is going to happen in the world. At the best, there will be a change of government. The change of government will not change the society. If A government goes, B government comes, and the society wanted the particular system should be there, automatically that system will come.
Thank you, sir, for giving so much information about Uniform Civil Code and clarifying the myths people have about Uniform Civil Code. Also, you have given us idea about how to put the suggestions about the Uniform Civil Code to the government. Really, thank you so much for such an informative talk we had with you.